I guess I'm live, okay? I wanted to do it sideways. I guess it won't let me today. All right. You get what we get, I guess, some days. Some days YouTube behaves, other days it doesn't. All right, today, hope you're all well. I thought we'd work on me combing my hair. And then work on how to make your blues playing a little more intelligent. Ooh. Is that an oxymoron? Can blues playing be intelligent? Some players think that blues is dumb. Well, in a way it is. It's a joyful kind of dumb though, isn't it? An unthinking, joyful exuberance. So, as learned scholars that you might be, learning how to be like a child and get down and get dirty with the dumb, idiotic kind of stuff is pretty fun. I got to learn this the hard way sometimes with people who knew that difference. People who were very studied but also would do very simple songs and just have a riot doing it. I've talked to my buddy, the late Mark Freeland out of Buffalo, who should have been mega famous. But he had that down. He would be studying progressive rock and all this stuff. Then he'd do these silly songs that were not blues, but they're, it was, I was born eating potatoes and corn. I was born eating potatoes and corn. Take it. And it'd be the whole song, and we'd jam around that. So he knew how to have fun with the most guttural, childlike instincts, and people glommed onto it. It's kind of cool. So the blues has this too. It's kind of a silly funness to it that's guttural. It's not always fun. It's kind of some sad and serious, but it makes us all feel better. That's the best answer I've ever had for the blues. Someone says, how can you stand being a professional blues musician? Which I am not all the time, but I've heard that asked of a blues guitarist that I was playing with. Doesn't it make you depressed? And he goes, no, ma'am. Playing the blues makes us all feel better. It's like it's cathartic for all of us to feel the same deep thing that we all have in us to some extent. Maybe you're a happy, bubbly person all the time and don't need that. But most of us have some degree of a little bit of misery in our life or about something. It's not getting along with your kids, or you stubbed your toe, or somebody, cut you off in traffic, whatever. We all got something that we can be a little ticked off about and feel bad about and feel blue about, or at least can empathize with it, right? Somebody else feeling it. So it's a cool style, and it's the basis for most modern things musically. So don't think it's not important just because it's simple. And there's many ways that it can be not quite as simple as you thought. So again, I've seen jazz musicians scoff at blues. It's dumb, Any kid can play that. Any 12-year-old can play that, and it's true. But can you play it really well and play it hard and dig deep? Feel those feelings. That's what people want to hear from blues musicians. You feeling something. So where does the feeling come from? The feeling comes from mostly rhythm and tone and execution, on playing on purpose. What you've heard me say here before, playing on purpose is where it's at. Not flailing around. Even though we're improvising, it's not just flailing and noodling, really. It's listening internally, hearing and knowing your stuff enough where you can listen internally and be relaxed enough and go, I'd like to play this note right now. That's the important stuff. So that doesn't matter whether you're a beginner in your first week of playing or whether you're a seasoned pro. Learning how to play on purpose is what separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls, right? So let's work with D today. D blues, which we've touched on before. Now the blues scale is very easy in the Fiddle Jam book. I have easy zones, which are open, low 2-3, open, low 2-3 for the key of D, for the D minor pentatonic, or blues. If you're new to this, try that scale. It's super easy. It's the same fingering on both strings. The D and the A, open, low 2-3, open, low 2-3. That's D, F, G, A, C, D. Mess around with it for a second. Everybody go crazy. Now this is noodling. I call it chaos theory. Just mess around until you get to the point of you don't care, and that's good. You don't care which notes you're playing because you're so used to playing them, it's not a big deal. Making it not a big deal is important. All right. So now that you have mastered that, it skips the first finger, right? No first finger, which is a little weird for some people. Again, we've done this key in another session. But I want you to copy me. Let's do some call and answer, simple, dumb things, right? That could be joyful. And then we'll put on a track in a little bit. You. I'll get it. You. There's another one. Up the third finger. Backwards. Open A. A. U. D3. The other way. Good. How'd that feel? We were able to kind of do it by ear. We were able to follow along. You could look at my fingers. It's not cheating. You can hear what I'm saying. Giving you little hints here and there. It's okay if you want to close your eyes and watch this again later, so you can do it with your eyes closed. Again, it's trying to internalize feeling a beat, feeling it's okay to be cool, even if you're kind of at the beginning, and learning to copy, at least me in this case, lets it bounce around in your head while I'm playing it. Hopefully it's still bouncing around in your head while you're playing it. And it kind of connects all this internal stuff we've talked about, the whole bit of the holographic human brain, hearing, where we hear what we hear as we hear it with our physical ears, of course. We also hear what we just heard a second ago, still bouncing around in there. And we also hear what we hope to hear us play at the same time in the near future. So we're kind of hearing this past, present, future thing all at once. That's the thing you want to develop awareness of if you want to be a good improviser. Now that's pretty far out stuff for a lot of people. You just want to play the riffs, but that's cool. I'm planting the seed, if you're just at the beginning, that's where it's at. All right, being aware, it's almost like a spiritual experience when you get in that zone and you're kind of hearing all past, present, and future all at the same time. Not for, next week, but in at least a few seconds each way. So, and it kind of bounces around your brain. Your brain kind of doesn't know time like we know time in our conscious part. So anyway, so there's some D blues stuff. Now, of course, I have a whole book of licks and tricks if you want to get there. If you want to go to the website, I have the Rock and Blues Fiddle Jam Etudes for sale in the school store at the Fiddle Jam Institute. You can find it under books. It was the second book I wrote. The first book was Fiddle Jam. It's out all over the world with Hal Leonard Corporation. This one is a self-published thing. Hal Leonard was not interested in this type of book at the time, which was just fine with me because that got me out of my contract with them. But I probably make more money selling it on my own anyways if I sell less of them. But I'm proud of the book. It's a good vocabulary builder. So some of the things that we just played to call and answer are some of the things that are like in that book. You have to be a reader. Or have somebody, play it for you and work with a teacher, and or look on the website. There is some of these that I've played out audio-wise and video, so you can check it out. But if you're a reader, a classical person especially, it'd be no-brainer. It's in 3 levels: easy page, a medium page, and a harder page. And the harder page probably make classical people trip up their fingers a little bit. And then there's a 4th page with what I call Groovetudes. I'll play one. And it's meant to be over and over. You play it till it grooves, till it feels fun. Here's number 1 on D minor Groovetudes. There it was. No big deal. It's not a song. It's just a one-line thing that's kind of fun. If you get into it, again, go. to spice them up with vibrato here and there and slides when you feel like it. So I'm not going to beat you over the head with my book, but that'd be good practice for people who are interested. Now, how do you make the blues sound more sophisticated and a little more with knowledge behind it? One is you can expand if you're not knowing what chords the blues are yet, which I recommend you learn. We'll go over that in the Orsh method in the second half of this session today. You can do this sophisticated just a little bit by using the Dorian scale instead of the blues scale, or you can mix the two together. Now, what is the Dorian scale? It adds back in the first fingers. B.B. King does this sometimes. Carlos Santana would not have had a career without this scale. So, instead of low 2, 3, you can add the E in there too. E and B back in. So it's open 1, low 2, 3, open 1, low 2, 3. Now, are these B and E notes something you'd really stress on? No, they'd be kind of passing notes more. Kind of adds a little sophistication to it, doesn't it? So let's try a little call and answer using the Dorian scale. Let's see what I can make up for you. I won't go fast. Me, here I go now. U, da, 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 F, E, F, D, again. U. I'll stop there. It does not matter if you're exactly right on. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it right exactly right away. Try and copy the rhythm I do at least. The rhythm is the carrier for cool ideas. You can play whatever notes you want in the end. Remember, the rhythm is the carrier of coolness. I'll do it again. Ready? Me. You. Good. A. Dun, dun, finger flip. Dun, 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 dun. BC. Dun, 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 dun. U. Same on the other side. Good. All right. Little trickier. It lends itself to kind of flipping the fingers around. If you're a Celtic person, you're used to flipping fingers, right? All right. Now I happen to have a track. If you're a little more advanced, you can hang with me. If you're not as advanced, you can listen also and kind of learn a couple things. Now, really playing the blues is not just about riffs, although you can do that too. We're going to start there today with that. I have a blues track all lined up here on my laptop, and of course, you can play just that D blues scale with the whole mess. We'll do that first. Of course, you can mess around with the D Dorian scale to sound a little more sophisticated. And of course, you can know what the chords are actually in the backing track and be able to follow the 3 simple chords if you got an ear for it. All right? If you got a gut for it, you can kind of feel when the chords rise and fall. If you listen to the bass, it was a big lesson for me, learning to listen to the bass player. I was a bass player, and when I started playing not bass, I was like thinking it was cheating trying to think of the bass. But that's what a great player told me to do. It was like, duh, I'm a bass player. I should have thought of that. All right, so I got a blues track from actually the Fiddle Jam book. This is one of the backing tracks. Let's put it on. I think it starts right away. It's kind of a boogie-woogie blues. And I'm going to jam. You can jam along with me. There won't be call and answer at first. Let's just do one pass and jam along anything you want with the D blues scale. Remember, open, low 2, 3, open, low 2, 3. If you want to throw in that A flat, which we haven't done at all today, we have done in other sessions. You can try it. Here we go. Boogie woo. How'd that feel? Can you hear the track okay? Maybe it could be a little bit louder. So, I was just messing around with that blues scale, wasn't I? Sounded okay, right? Now, there are chords going on underneath it, and if you're cognizant of it, you can do some other things. Let's try one that's a call and answer. I'll do one measure, and you answer it back. Let's see if I can start this over. Me. You. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dee. Dun, 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 dun. How'd that go? You getting the idea? You can run it back later if you want. Let's try it again. I'm going to do 2 measures and you do 2 measures. You. Again. We won't do one more time now. All right, how did that go? You notice that I stuck in a couple of those Dorian notes? All right, now if you weren't getting exactly what I was doing, it's okay. It's actually almost probably preferred to make up your own, all right? You don't have to get it exactly like me. It's a good challenge. It's a good ear training, yes, to copy other people. I copied Michael Brecker. I copied other players when I was coming up, John Luponti. Michael Brecker, of course, is not a violinist. He was a great tenor saxophone player. He's the only guy ever asked for an autograph right there on that violin, the back of it. And I adored his playing. Sad to see him go. Anyways, you're getting the hang of this. Now, what are the chords to the blues? It's a 12-bar form. It's 3 chords. It's usually 4 bars of the 1 chord, 2 bars of the 4 chord, 2 bars of the 1 chord, and in its simplest form, 2 bars of the 5 chord and 2 bars of the 1 chord. On the site, I have all this stuff. You can kind of hear it. Doing it that simple is actually not as common. The one that we're doing here has a couple tricks. When it hits the 5 chord, it drops down to the 4. That's much more common. And we have something called a quick change or a fast 4. You'll learn this lingo. And that is happens on the 2nd bar. It goes to the 4 chord. Listen again. I'll put the finger numbers up. A boogie woo. There, raise. Back down to 1. Now the 4 chord for 2 bars. Hear it raise? You feel it raise? Back to the 1. Now we're going to the 5 again. There's an intensity to it. 4. And a 1. And the 5 chord turns it around. Could you kind of feel that? If you can learn to feel that and hear that while you're playing, you can respond to these things. You can actually go to the scale of each chord. I can do that without the track, and you can hear me do it. 1. G. D. G. D. A. G. D. A. You can kind of hear the chords going by, can't you? So that's a trick that you learn to do. You learn to do major pentatonic of each. I do many tricks of this, many layers to this on the website. If you're interested, go to the website, join, buy any of the books, get the Fiddle Jam book. I don't go into the following the chords in the Fiddle Jam book. That's a one scale fits all like we started with. But there is, if you want to join, the website is an all-access pass member. There's a bunch of lessons on there about how to follow the changes and know the changes and be able to respond to them and sound a little more intelligent like we were talking about. All right, so I hope that gives you some ideas. If you're a beginner, you just do one scale fits all and always abort to the blues if you get lost. And you can try to throw in a few tricks with the Dorian scale. You can buy my book of licks and tricks and study those. You can join the site and get more lessons on the gigger levels. I call level 2 is what we were touching on there. Level 1 is one scale fits the whole mess, and just learn how to go nuts and respond to what's going on in the band. That's cool. That's level 1. I spent 10 years there as a professional musician playing in a band that did that. We just got really good at it. So then after that, I played 10 years in a zydeco band, which I had to know the 3 chords and which chord I was on. You can do it too. And then later I did more heavy-duty jazz, like gypsy jazz, where you had to know all the scales and all the theory, which I knew from before, but I just never applied them as much. And that's a whole other level too, level 3, artistry I call it. But hope that helps, and hope you get some benefit out of these. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. All right? So happy jams. And keep on jamming and playing that blues scale. How do you end this thing? Never can remember.